Do you know all of this year is pretty stacked in terms of anime movies coming out? Last year there were only 2 anime movies I went to go watch, and it was the Demon Slayer special and The Boy and the Heron, which were great watches. But oh boy, does this year have a lot more planned. Let's go over it because you may have forgotten some of them. There are 4 movies I'm interested in this year, but I'm gonna start with my least anticipated to my most anticipated movie for this year, and they're gonna be labeled 4 through 1. Let's see if you can guess my most anticipated movie of 2024. Let's start off with number 4, and that would be Demon Slayer, the Hashira arc. The way the latest season ended had me sweating from my eyes, man. I think the season was finally the turning point for Tanjiro in taking the next step to becoming stronger. He had to fight an upper level demon that was the strongest thus far in the show and was able to survive this encounter. The show baited Tanjiro's sister as she was going to be exposed by sunlight, which kills any demon. She pushed him to save the swordsmiths from dying, and he went to go kill the upper moon, but in tears, believing his sister died. Somehow, some way, she transformed back into a human, and this leaves a huge question into the story. How and why was this possible? Michael Jackson finds out that Tanjiro's sister was able to transform back into a human, and this makes him want to get her to see how this was possible so he can do this too. I mean, think about it, he's been a demon for a long time, having to avoid the sunlight. So he wants to learn how is she able to turn into a human. This sets up a lot of things with Tanjiro finally starting his Hashira training and becoming strong enough to handle the fights by himself. If we think about it, all the fights he's had more than one person to help him, but I really think that this is the start of his journey where he will be able to fight off these strong demons without any help from anybody. So I'm really excited because it sets up his training finally, and it sets up the villain trying to capture his sister after finally being able to achieve his goal of turning her back to a human. So this seems like it'll be a very interesting arc now. My number 3 is Haikyuu's movie titled The Battle at the Garbage Dump. This movie was not on my radar at first, like a month ago or two, because I had never watched Haikyuu. But once I started watching it, I saw why it was beloved by many. First of all, like I said in my previous video about it, go check it out, it's more in depth, but this anime is really funny. Like, I laughed out loud at every single episode I saw, which was something I was not expecting. The characters are fantastic, from the main ones to the team of Kurasuno to the opponents they face too. There are very serious moments in this anime too that I really enjoyed, like when the ace of Kurasuno does not want to come back because of fear and guilt, or when Daichi got hurt in one of their matches, the team captain. They aren't afraid to put you on edge. The main reason why I'm excited for this movie is because Kurasuno is going against Nekoma after defeating the powerhouse school of the twins. I forgot the names. Both of these schools in the past were top teams, but in these past years they have really fallen off their pedestal. They were even rivals too, and this builds the tension between the coaches of the schools, because I think the Nekoma coach has been there since the beginning, and the coach for Kurasuno actually fought against and played against the Nekoma team. Both teams have won and advanced farther into the tournament and are gonna have to face each other. With the dynamics of Hinata and Kenma's characters having to face off, this makes for a very interesting watch, and I can't wait to see it. I mean, they've been training the entire show to fight in this tournament, and to think that these two teams that people scoff at when they see them, are now in the top and are gonna have to go against each other, and that is why it's labeled Battle at the Garbage Dump. So I can't wait to see these both trash teams fight, because they have the spotlight now, and we're gonna have to see who wins. And I really like the characters from Nekoma, so this is gonna be a good watch. Blue Lock, episode Nagi. The second to last movie I'm going to talk about is Blue Lock. One of my close friends recommended me Blue Lock, and ever since then, I've been wanting more since finishing season 1. Ironically, Nagi was actually one of my favorite characters, so this is a pretty sweet moment for me because it's gonna be a movie about him. I really liked Nagi because of his raw talent. He didn't have to try much because his opponents were never good enough to beat him until he faces Isagi. This is where he realizes there are more people out there that may not seem good, but have that passion, drive, and persistence to win. So much so that it can light a fire in you too that you didn't even know existed, and that's exactly what happens to Nagi. Nagi meets Isagi. He's kind of calm, quiet, doesn't really care being there in the first place, and he doesn't have to try at all. Once he faces Isagi, he has to try now. He has to fight, and he's actually invested into the sport now after facing him, and I really like that character change of Nagi. Blue Lock is one of those shows you can feel the intensity from watching it, and that's what I really like about it. You have to face hard opponents each and every single time you step onto the field, and if you don't beat them, you fail and you get kicked out, and you can never join the Japan national team. You have to have the ability to question your capabilities, know your strengths, weaknesses, be honest with yourself, and create discipline to become stronger. And you also need to create an ego, which I really like the idea of having that overwhelming confidence, but I feel like in the long run that ego can affect somebody. So I wonder if that's gonna happen, or having to chase this idea of having a big ego. I wonder if that's gonna affect anybody in the long run in the show, especially since all these characters are pretty young. I believe they're like 16 to like 18 in the show, so I wonder how that's gonna be. My most anticipated film of the year is Chainsaw Man: The Raise Arc. This has no release date at all for when it's gonna come out in the US, and it has no release date for Japan either. I think it will come out in the fall for Japan because it's been 2 years since Chainsaw Man came out, and because MAPPA just finished JJK season 2, they finished Vinland Saga season 2, and as well as finishing Attack on Titan. So they should have had more time and more energy and more resources to put into making Chainsaw Man. So I think it will come out in the fall for Japan, but in the US we will have to wait a couple months. So I think it will be a miracle for it to come out this year. The movie will come out sometime in 2025 in the beginning. At least that's my predictions. Anyways, having read the manga for Chainsaw Man Part 1, I can say this part of the story is where the things get very fun and exciting for Denji. The fight scenes, emotions, craziness, and underlying sense of duress I felt reading this arc was awesome. Chainsaw Man was the first anime that made me pick up a manga and start reading it. After episode 1 of the anime, I actually read the entire part 1 for Chainsaw Man and I really enjoyed it. So this is one of the biggest anticipated movies for me for this year. Hoping it does come out this year. If you want to see a more in-depth breakdown on Chainsaw Man's trailer, click on this video right here so you can see that. If you like this video, like and subscribe for weekly anime videos. We don't miss a single week here. If you watched the entire video through, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you on the next one, guys. Have a great day and peace.